Morena, Madam Chair, mihi kia koutou nā kaimahi ringa raupā o tātou kaungi here o te mātua Māori. Ai mihi kia koutou I tai mai ai te kahana, tēnei wā, te wā o Matariki, te tau hau o te iwi Māori. Ai he wā tino hira hira. Kia tātou katoa I ngā whetī o Matariki. So thank you for giving me the honour to open up our meeting today with our karakia and especially space net around Matariki. So I thought before we go to the karakia, I thought I'd address those Matariki stars, especially for us all here in the audience and our kaimahi, and also those online. So such and such, now it's a national holiday. I think it's important that we understand what those stars are and more importantly what they represent for us. So of course we had the first one, Matariki, which is the mother of all those stars, the mātua, the tuakana. And if you like all mothers, their job is to nurture the rest of those stars. And of course, po Hutakawa. Po Hutakawa is a rigor in regards to our mate for over this last year. It's a place where they gather before moving on to Waikinui, Waikirohi, Waikipamamau. And so it's an opportunity for us to remember all those that would have passed away, all our loved ones, and think about them as in this particular time. So that's followed by Waiiti, which is connected to our freshwater bodies, the life within it. So those types of our whitebait, our freshwater koura, our tuna. So those around those ancestral bodies, of course, you've got to have watercress in there. You can't have those things without watercress. Waita is connected to our sea life. So that's all our kaimoana from our moana, and also in regards to the tonga or tongaro. So the likes of our tohora, our whales, etc., etc. So all those things. And of course we'll get to experience some of those things at lunch today, I understand, as part of our Matariki celebrations. We'll have crayfish, pawa. Oh, hang on, I got a memo over here. Due to budget cuts.
Jam sandwiches.
No, we only got
annual plans.
So it'll be just sea Lord tuna sandwiches today. Of course, followed by that is Waipunarangi. So Waipunarangi is associated with our weather, our rains. And as we know, we sit here in Heretanga Ararau, Heretanga Hauku Nui, Heretanga Taharo o te kahu, ahuriri. So our wai is really, really important to us. And of course, being here in Regional Council and responsibility of our environment, very important in regards to that particular affair too, and it's regards to the mahi of this council. Tupua nuku is linked to the foods and the plants that grow in the ground. So those are our kumara, the likes of those things that grow in the ground, followed by tupua rangi. So those are the birds, KFC, all those type of things that fly. And of course, because we're not allowed to eat, we do have TT and mutton birds, for those that are lucky enough to win a raffle and win some. And of course, finally, ururangi associated with the winds and the coming weather. So that's really important in regards to, as we all know, especially in this time and age, and the weather events that we are seeing, how important our stars and our heavens are in regards to controlling our weather and what impact they have on it. And if we don't respect that and we disregard that, we actually do pay a severe cost, as we well know, in regards to weather-related events. And of course, Hiwa Iterangi, the star in which we wish upon for prosperity of the year ahead of us. And I suppose, back to your point, Madam Chair, I think as we come to this time of year, although we sit back and reflect on the previous year, it's also time to look ahead. And I think we can all agree that we can all do with some prosperity within our region and within our country. Things are a bit tough out there for a lot of our whānau, especially in regards to the work that you have to do here along with staff, looking for the savings that need to be made to try and make these rates affordable for our whānau going forward. So with that, let us turn to our karakia. So our karakia here is in regards to matariki. So if you'd like to just read along with me, please. And manawa mai te putunga o matariki. Manawa mai o tarangi. Manawa mai te mātahi o te tau. Pano hara mai te toki. Ata hua ki rangi. Haumi e hui e tai ki. Celebrate the rising of matariki. Celebrate the Lord of the skies. Celebrate the new year. Unite, and bring forth the dawn. Together in unison, we are one. Kia ora tātou.
Kia ora, Mr. Parker. What a lovely way to open our morning, and also to speak, as you say, so clearly to the work that we're doing and the relevance to our annual plan adoption today. A little bit of housekeeping first of all. We are being live streamed. If you're joining us today, welcome, or watching us at a later date. In an earthquake, please drop cover and hold. If the shaking's long and strong, please wait until the shakings subside and then leave the building and head this way up the hill. If there's an evacuation alarm, evacuate the building, please, through any of the exits and meet on the grass area to the side of the building. Toilets are located down the hallway for any visitors that we may have today. Can I ask for any apologies for today? I have one from Deputy Chair Van Bake.
And one from Bob McIntosh, and one from Tanya Botmans.
Madam Chair, I do need to get away by 12:15. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other apologies? I'm happy to move those from the Chair. Have a second. Thank you. Councillor Rodley. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Carried. Any against? Carried. Thank you. Confirming previous minutes, there were two sets of minutes from the 27th of May and the 3rd of June, which you've received. Is there any comments or corrections to be made? If there are none, can someone who was present at both meetings please move those minutes? Thank you. Councillor Waitoa, the seconder. Councillor Rodley, thank you. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. It's carried. Thank you. Are there any conflicts of interest declarations for today's papers? Thank you. If there are none, we'll move to public forum. We have no applicants to speak at public forum today. Now we're going to move to our first decision item, which is the adoption of the annual plan. And before I invite staff up, I thought it was a moment. Good morning, Councillor Kirby.
Good morning. Stacey is okay.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that. Shall we wait while you get yourself settled?
Yes, please.
That's right. Before I pass to the Chief Executive and to staff, I thought I'd open with a little bit of framing around our conversation today, where we're at in our work programme, because of course the adoption of our annual plan is a key point in our year. So we are here to adopt the annual plan for 2026-27, and the documents are quite technical. There's pages and pages of rating, valuations, etc. But actually what sits underneath the adoption of the annual plan every year is really very simple. It is a way in which we translate the priorities, our priorities for our community, into actions, and how we give effect to what our communities have asked of us. Our focus in this council hasn't shifted. We have absolutely continued to prioritise our flood risk, improving water security and supporting the health of our land and water, because those are the very foundations of this region's well-being and prosperity. And what the annual plan does is set out in a very practical way how we're going to continue to move over the next year on those work fronts. Of course, we're all aware that there's a much broader context for us at the moment. We're in a change across local government, a simplifying of local government, although I'm not sure we're going to see anything simpler, and it does create a lot of uncertainty. I think that we're aware as councillors, and certainly as an organisation, that it's placed probably more responsibility on us to stay very focused, to keep delivering, and to make sure that whatever comes next in terms of structures, that we're handing over a region that is well planned, well managed, and is restoring, protecting and enhancing the natural world that we rely on. So today is not about just adopting a plan. It's definitely about demonstrating continuity, about discipline and care for the long term. I want to acknowledge all the work, thank you, of the Chief Executive, of the staff and the councillors and our advisors, Mr Paku, put you in there too. In a very complex and unsettling time, it would be very easy to lose focus on the work that we're intending to do. Annual plans always involve trade-offs. I think that we've approached those in a way that's really reflected realism and responsibility in this time. I know, we all know clearly from our communities that what really matters to them is that we're using their money wisely, that we're focused on the things that make people more secure, but actually primarily, and your opening Mātariki speech this morning really spoke to it, that we actually deliver on our responsibilities to the land and water that sustains us, and that we're building a region that will work for everybody, from Wairoa through Napier Ahuriri, Hastings, Hiratonga, to central Hawke's Bay, Tamatea. So with all that in mind, I'm really looking forward to the discussion today, the focus on outcomes, on our priorities, on the work that matters, of course on our rate setting, and keeping ourselves very clear that we are moving forward with a real clarity and confidence in our role and responsibilities. So thank you, councillors. Look forward to hearing your thoughts today. Ko mai hoka karo. And I'm going to pass to the Chief Executive.
Thank you, Chair, and kia ora koutou, Morena elected members. As the Chair said, the day when you consider your annual plan and then the setting of rates is a milestone in the local government calendar and an important, one of the critical functions that you carry out as elected members. I just wish to say thank you to you all for your guidance as we have proceeded through hopefully providing you with an annual plan for discussion today that you are comfortable with. Your guidance through a series of workshops has been invaluable. I hope that the annual plan before you today provides a balance between operational savings and just acknowledge that the organisation has worked its way through those, and some people obviously directly affected by that process, but also sustaining your core services that you provide to the community across a wide range of areas, from the world of regulation and transport through flood protection and the work we do around our natural environment. And clearly maintaining a focus on Council's core priorities. So, Madam Chair, the team are here to answer any questions, but I think the paper is relatively self-explanatory, so I'm happy to go straight to questions if that works for you.
Is that, Desi, you weren't looking to bring? Straight to questions. Okay. I'm comfortable with that. Councillor Parsons.
So can I ask my rates question?
Absolutely.
Now?
Questions
Yeah.
now, yes, sure.
I sort of brought it up and...
Sorry, was that in the rates setting or is that within this paper?
I don't know, that's why I asked.
Okay.
It's
Just
about the rate setting.
It's the rate setting paper. Mm-hmm.
So I'll wait.
Thank you.
But you've got something coming. It's all good.
Questions on this paper? That's okay.
Just looking at page 29, building flood resilience, tremendous amount of work that's gone on at great speed. Credit to the organisation's capacity to have done that. The question is, in terms of completion, where would we say we are up to in terms of spending the $256 odd million? And when does reality kick in terms of meeting the cost thereof? A sense that that we can indicate to ratepayers where they're up to and what are they in for.
So in terms of the annual plan for next year, we've added, I think it was about $2 million in of principal repayments, and then what is to come is another $1 million in the first year of the LTP. On top of that, there'll be approximately $2.5 million of ongoing operating and maintenance costs to hit as well.
So of the 256 million, how much have we spent? $70 mil. So we've got a long way to go to spend a lot of money in the coming year, is that right? Most of that's wire or 7.4 million. And the repayments in the the annual plan year, like you said, $1 million to go in is the figure contribution to that in the coming year.
Yeah, so in the next
financial year. And then the first year of the new LTP, you're saying $2.5 million in addition to the $1 million. And in the following year?
That's it.
That's it. So the sum total of that flood resilience work will be about $3.5 to $4 million.
Yeah.
Is that right?
To come in the first year of the LTP.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Chair. Thanks, team. My question's around the plan defers some rate smoothing, loan repayments for 27-28. So we'll get to consider those in terms of an LTP package and how we deal with it. Is that correct? And we don't need to consult on those matters. They're not significant enough. I think that was a rhetorical question.
Yeah, so we'd made the decision that it wasn't significant for this year.
Yep.
And then through the long-term plan, you will be consulting on the major matters of your financial strategy.
Mm-hmm.
So you may pick it up there.
Okay, thank you. And second question,
Yep.
Just around erosion control scheme, can you just remind us and anyone listening online what we've proposed to do with the erosion control scheme in this annual plan?
I wonder if Richard would like to come and speak to that.
And I say that because it's been such a successful program, yet in annual plan time we have to make trade-offs for certain reasons, and also to be informed of changing structures and such.
Kia ora koutou, ko Richard Wakeland, tōko ingoa. So the erosion control scheme, just as a refresh, was a 10-year program of $30 million loan funded. And the decision was made as part of re-looking in the Fit for Future program to finish that program of work 2 years earlier. So it's an 8-year program instead of a 10-year program. And that's led to the introduction of next-gen land management in terms of the new approach to soil conservation. The erosion control scheme was based on a loan-funded scheme where we undertook works on the ground and funded those works on the ground with landowners. The basis of next-gen land management is to go to a more targeted program and working in partnership not only with our communities through catchment groups, but increasing the efficiency and effectiveness of our pole nurseries. So we're continuing to focus on the production of poplar and willow poles and making those available for landowners to purchase online directly rather than through a managed, curated program where we were out on farm and working with those landowners. We will continue to provide advice, predominantly focused in what we're calling a one-to-many, one-to-some, one-to-many model. So rather than having a heavy focus on one-to-one, we will do very much working with those groups. We will continue to focus on those really highly erodible areas, so we have a precision approach where we'll identify through our GIS mapping those highly erodible areas, and we will work with those landowners with a package of funding support to ensure that we're targeting those most at-risk areas which are having the biggest impact on our waterways and our environment.
Okay. Thank you for that, Richard.
Kia ora.
Kia ora, thank you. Mr. Wakeland. Are there more questions? No? Someone happy to move the recommendations 1 to 5 before we go to comments? Thank you, Councillor Whitehall. Thank you, Councillor Roadley. Councillor Whitehall, would you like to speak?
Yeah, kia ora. Thank you, Chair. I am happy to move the recommendations as printed. I just want to acknowledge the work that's gone into bringing the annual plan back to a more affordable position for ratepayers, while still maintaining Council's core responsibilities around the flood resilience, environmental management, transport and regional wellbeing. Also want to just acknowledge the engagement that has occurred through this process. We've had our workshops, but I've also the number of questions on the matter, including savings, reprioritations, reserves, contingency funding, and I appreciate the response provided by our Chief Executive, Nick, as well as yourself, Chair, and fellow councillors. Those interactions have helped provide a clarity and assurance on the issues I raised and we raised. From a finance audit risk and emergency lens, my focus has been on clarity, discipline and assurance, and I am satisfied with the key questions I raised and we raised, have been worked through and answered, and both through written response, through CE, Nick, and through discussions around the table. It's not a perfect financial environment. There are still pressures ahead and we need to still remain disciplined as we move into the next long-term plan process. So, however, today I'm comfortable that the Council has enough information to adopt the annual plan and move to the rate setting item. I support the motion.
Thank you, Councillor Whitehall. Councillor Roadley.
Thank you, Chair, and yes, support all those comments before me, and of course for those people who aren't privy to the huge amount of work that goes on leading up to this annual plan being adopted today. It is a massive piece of work, so a special thanks to Desi and your team. And of course, we instructed our Chief Executive to do more with less, and which is literally the impossible task. We are responding to what our community needs, and it's great to see it's page, well, I don't know how that relates to the actual page numbers on the annual plan, but the key difference between this annual plan and the long-term plan is actually a lowering of rates, which is a great outcome, so I'm super pleased with that. Of course, the original planned 8.5% was already that slimmed down version. We'd already cut and slithered off bits as best we could. We'd already done a lot of work to get to that 8.5%. And so to push it further to 5.5%, which is still a lot of money for our community, but it is that balancing act. And I think I'm reflecting on our key strategies, and we've kept those at the heart of everything we've done. And so we've been told time and time again to get rid of the fluff. We've done that. We think these priorities are our community's priorities. These are the foundations for a resilient community going forward, and I'm really proud of that. Keeping our focus on flood risk, on the water security and healthy land and water. That's what this budget or this document is about. But to get from 8.5 to 5.2, I'd like to acknowledge our Chief Executive. You've had to cut pretty deep. That all these things come at a cost, and there is a balance. So, yeah, acknowledging this has been a pretty brutal process. But of course, rates are such a blunt instrument. It's all we've got. And so when people open their rates demand, after we've done that piece next, they're still going to be taking some deep breaths. So that's just, we've done our best to get it to where we can. So yeah, I'm really pleased to support the adoption of the annual plan today.
Good, thank you, Councillor Rodley. Councillor Curtin.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. And continuing on from Councillor Rodley's commentary, the situation is actually more, if you like, severe than a simple arrival at 5.2% increase, because you need to factor in two things. One is the effects of Cyclone Gabriel, and while the event itself fades into the history annals, we are now picking up the cost of that, and the public will feel that. $1 million in the coming year for this annual plan, that's about 2%. So if you look at the cuts and restructuring and adjustments we've made, the actual effect is something like 3%. That's the reality. We've had to take care of the flood resilience build back. And on top of that, we've had additional dividend from HBRIC, 1.5 million odd on average. So the effect of the build back from flood resilience is profound, and particularly in the subsequent year. And I think that's a sober warning to ratepayers, is that, but wait, there's more. It's coming your way soon. It'll find its way into in a year's time when the most of the effects of the build back come back strongly. But I think we need to take some applause for the tremendous work that's gone into and will continue with the Building Flood Resilience program. It's an extraordinary undertaking, one of the biggest in the history of the council, and it's been done at great speed, at efficient, effective, and cost-effective particularly. Not only does it build back what we lost in Gabriel, it also adds further protection with the various additional projects, the upgrades that we're undertaking. So we at least we can take pride in the fact that resilience is being, and protection for future generations is being put in place. We can't avoid the cost of that, and we need to be upfront with the public to say, here is the proportion that the cost we're paying for that extraordinary event. How long ago? 3 years ago now. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Great comments. The tail is going to be very long. Any further comments? Thank you. Well, we have a mover and a seconder. Motion on the table. All those in favour of adopting our annual plan 26-27, please say aye. Aye. Please. Thank you very much. That's carried. Thank you, staff. There weren't a lot of questions. It just shows the quality of the documents. Thank you. So the same team is staying here because we're moving to 5.2. It's the setting of the 26-27 rates. Now we've adopted the annual plan. I don't think we need any... would you like to make some opening comments?
Very
please?
briefly,
I don't
Chair.
need to. You may.
Thank you. Councillors, this is a long set of recommendations. The way that you adopt recommendations for your annual plan is to some extent prescribed in the Local Government Act, and we go through an external legal check to make sure that what you are doing in adopting I don't think the word is striking the rates anymore, but putting the rates in place meets the legal requirements of the LGA. So the team have done that work in advance. I'll just check with the team if they have anything to add, or if you wish to go straight to questions.
Straight to questions. Thank you. Thanks to the team. I'm going to come to Councillor Parsons, who I know has a particular interest in understanding. As we know, we have a 5.2% average rate increase, but the way those dollar figures fall depends on targeted rates, valuations, etc. And I know Councillor Parsons would like to ask around commercial revaluations. Councillor Parsons.
Yeah, I just wondered if that had been, given, the Hastings revaluations have come out and it's been quite brutal for commercial businesses. I wondered if that had been something that you've looked at, and I don't mean as a whole, but I mean as potential individual businesses that might have been caned quite hard. And that's one question: has it been considered and looked at? Given the what we've heard in the media about Hastings District, we could potentially be a bit more proactive. And are there any levers that we can pull to help during this time? Because I do worry about economic development, and for some businesses, I don't know what the answer is first to the first question. I'm hoping that it hasn't had too much of a severe impact like the Hastings District rates, but if it has, are there any levers that we can pull to maybe give some relief?
Yeah, I could probably answer the first part. In my previous role, I was actually at Hastings, so I've been through quite a few valuations over the years. Revaluations always shifts the pie. It's not new that a group of ratepayers has, come off worse at a revaluation. Unfortunately, properties don't all increase at the same rate. Mm-hmm. It'll be interesting to see the outcome of those Hastings decisions, but I think we're quite sheltered in some respect that we don't have land use differentials for our general rate. We apply our general rate on a capital value basis, the same rate in the dollar essentially for each property within each district. The only change is an equalisation that we do to reflect valuations being done at different times. So the impacts of the Hastings revaluation across those properties in Hastings is a slightly lesser impact because of that. Notwithstanding, there still are some severities because of the fluctuations in this valuation. For commercial industrial properties in the CBD, they're looking at 15 to 20% increases as opposed to sort of 40 to 80%, which Hastings has certainly talked about. So there's a shift. There's certainly a shift. Residential properties, for example, in Havelock could be seeing somewhere between 0 and 5% increases, which is less than average, possibly even a decrease. But like I say, revaluations do change. The last cycle of revaluation at Hastings residential properties picked up a fairer share of the pie. And prior to that, Port Farming saw 80 to 100% increase in land value and picked up a very big slice of the pie then. So like I say, we do understand that revaluation causes pain that's beyond our control in some respects. Council does have some levers in terms of Hastings, certainly with that differential. And that will be something for them to consider. But us, like I say, we have capital value as our general rate, so it is certainly a lesser impact in terms of those fluctuations.
Would anyone else like to speak more on the levers part, or
Yep.
is that
So we did consider the economic development rate, which is a rate mostly targeted towards commercial properties, and whether we could reduce that. On average, across Hastings commercial properties, it would reduce it by $67, which is about 3% on a reduction for them.
Is that something that you did?
No, that's what we considered, but we decided it probably wasn't worth it given how late we were in the annual plan process.
Yeah, and I guess why I'm asking the question is because I do understand how the revaluation and QV works and all of the rest of it, and the pie and all the rest of it, but I guess I'm thinking about companies like, for example, Pampac, who have been caned with lots of other things at the moment, the fuel crisis, the energy things, and we've had Watties and McCain's leave us. I don't think they're leaving us because of rates, but, I don't want to see other companies saying bye-bye and we're just putting the boot in. So that's why I wondered if there were any anomalies that stood out to you.
So economic development would be about the only lever you could pull. The problem is if you change anything else, then you push rates onto residentials and all of that sort of stuff when the impact is actually from the valuations.
Yeah.
Would you like to make a comment?
Through you, Chair, I don't want to play the issue down, but generally our rates are so much lower than the territorial authority rates. While our percentages might look relatively high, the actual amounts of money, when we're talking $67 if we change the economic development rate, are probably not as material as the Hastings district rate for their commercial properties, to be honest.
Yeah, thank you. Councillor McAvoy.
Kia ora, thank you, Madam Chair. Kia ora, staff. My question's about the UAGC and has Council assessed the impact of uniform charges on lower income households? I mean, we go on about affordability and it's repeatedly cited as a priority, but I'd be interested in seeing the distribution and all analysis and showing me who benefits, who pays and who carries the long-term risk.
Thank you.
I'll have a go and then I'll pass over to the finance team. So the UAGC is set as a fixed charge, so it is a regressive rate. So it does fall more heavily on those that have a lower rate. Under the Local Government Act, you can set that up, fixed charges up to 30%. Ours is currently 26.5%. So we haven't pulled that lever because we are aware that it hits it's hardest on those lowest property values. Anything else you want to add?
The other thing would be, so the threshold of 30% includes targeted rates like sedum, coastal hazards, Opaho and that. So by pulling the lever, it doesn't actually make too much of a difference to the rates because you've already got rates built in that are already high and uniform.
Yes. Thank you. Councillor Kuklinski?
On the liability side, page 35, you've got borrowings for the 3-year to 26-27 and then the annual plan borrowings 26-27, and the number seems to be different. So I was just wondering if you could talk to that. I think it says
what page? Sorry.
Page 35.
Councillor Kuklinski, I think you're back in the previous paper, are you?
Yeah, well, yeah, but it's all part of it, isn't it?
35 of the annual plan. Yeah.
On the numbers.
Can you repeat the question?
Well, there's a difference in the same year on the borrowings. One for the 3-year plan and one says for the annual plan. One's 148,237,000 and one's 131,200,000. Just wondering if you could talk to why there's a difference.
Is it note 4B?
4A.
I'm going to have to come back to you on that one.
Okay.
You happy to have a discussion with that afterwards? Thank you. Any other questions on setting of the 26-27 rates? Yes, Councillor Waitoa?
Thank you. Mine's a simple one. Just an amendment in the recommendations. It's just got on number 4, general rate, the set under section 13 and 131. I think would be 13 bracket 1 bracket.
Thank you. Councillor Curtin?
Yeah, just essentially for a point of clarification around capital value, land value. Can you help me out? It's 6.3 on page 56 of the paper. Well, item 6.3, 6.5, 6.6, 6.7, 6.8. So we've got setting of rates based on land value. Why is it those particular items attract only a land value rate versus proportions, particularly the general rate, attracts a capital value? Have you got an easy pocket edition explanation of that, please?
When Council reviewed its revenue and financing policy, remember we did a first principles, we went through every activity, you assessed step 1 and step 2 for each activity, and it was determined that land value was the best way to rate for that activity. So that, for example, would be pest control, sustainable land management. It was considered at the time that land value was a better way to rate for those specific activities.
And just to complete the circle, at item 4 in the recommendations around general rate, what is the impact that it's had in moving to a capital valuation versus a land valuation for whichever general rate? What is the overall impact on rates as a result of that move?
So the rate take is the same, but the pie is made, how we split the pie is different. So the pie is the same size, but it's how we split the pie and who pays.
And the impact on the ratepayer across the board?
It will depend on individual property values. So I think at the time when we consulted on it, I think there was a ratio at the time of 1.9 was put in the paper at the time, 1.89. So it really depends on the level of land value and the level of improvement value of each individual property as to whether you were better off or worse off. So you can set aside your land use, that was not a factor. It's just the improvements. If you had a high improvement value on your property, you were likely to be worse off under a capital value. If you had a low improvement value, you were likely to be better off under the land value approach.
Thank you. Questions, Councillor Roger?
Thank you, Chair. DZ team, just digging into the way it's laid out on for the Wairoa drainage schemes. You've split capital value A, capital value B, just for people at home. What is capital A and what is capital B? I'm assuming it's direct and indirect, but...
I think in case of the Wairoa drainage scheme, I think it's just the level of service each of those properties receive. Essentially, A is a separate class to B. A class essentially is probably closer to the river and gets a greater benefit in that particular activity, and as a consequence, they pay a higher rate in the dollar. So I think it's really class and level of service each property's receiving.
They're very small schemes, aren't they? Very
Yes.
low beneficiaries. I wonder if it's worth just putting one more word in those two lines just to make it a bit more readable. Sorry.
I mean, we could change the definition of the class.
Yeah.
For the upper tuki-tuki, we've got high, medium and low, which I guess is
which
more
kind of makes
reflective
sense,
of the level
but
of
A and B
service.
sort of doesn't give you much.
But probably historic.
Or is there, maybe there's a key in here, I'm just missing it, Stephen.
Yeah, we could look at that.
Have a look at that. Take that.
That's good. Good.
Sorry, late to the party.
Councillor Ormsby?
Order. The report talks about an external legal counsel reviewing formal rate setting in the resolutions. But my question is around whether that legal advice also included consistency given Category 3's status and whether targeted rates still affect them or not. So can you just give us an idea around how Category 3 has been dealt with in terms of rate setting?
So I can answer the first part. So the advice we gave to our legal advisor was around it's the compliance with the Local Government Act, so it's very specific, so it didn't cover that in the scope.
Okay. I suppose at a higher level in terms of Category 3 properties, they've not been treated any differently from a rating sense, but I suspect their valuation will be a lot lower, and as a consequence their rates will be lower because I guess they've got potential blocks in terms of how they can use the land moving forward.
I just wonder if the activity that they're rated for is actually applicable or being used. I guess we could have discussed this earlier, but it's just come to mind actually. That might be a community or communities where we haven't actually attended to that. So I think it's for consideration in terms of fairness moving forward.
Or even remission.
Or remission, or the ability for remission. Is that
through you, Chair,
policy apply?
the previous council looked at remission and basically said remission on hardship. So there's an application that people can make around hardship, and that continues to be there. And the council took a pretty relaxed view of hardship where it related to Category 3 properties. In terms of services, the same sets of services are still provided
Activities.
and activities wherever you're.
Further questions? Yes. Oh, sorry, Mr. Buchan. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much. One is in regards to the recommendations, and item 5 is in regards to the uniform annual general rates and the SERP. How does that SERP, if you like, how can that affect me as a rate payer? Can I have more than one?
You can, yeah. It's separately used in all inhabited parts of a rating unit. So if we take a simple term in terms of residential property, it's really a per dwelling charge. So if you've got 2 flats, you'll have 2 sets of charges. If you've got accommodation unit, a separate property that can be used separately, then you face a charge for each one of those. In terms of a business property, if I've got a particular shop on one title but it's got 3 shops, then they're considered to be each individual separate units, and so you would face 3 sets of charges. So really, I guess for residential properties, it's really a per dwelling charge, but for commercial properties, it's per separate use.
That's good.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In terms of what's appearing on the rate demand, is it possible to identify the flood resilience component, or would that need to have been set in the tables that you produced today in this paper? Can we do it, identify it, and identify a particular payment? Is it part of the general rate? Some of it would have found its way into the schemes. Is it possible to identify flood resilience component on demand at this point in time, or is it too big a task?
No, so all of that is either a targeted rate or a general rate built in to all the ratings, so it would be really hard to pull that out at this point.
But we can tell that story in the newsletter that goes with the rate bill.
But just for clarity, the targeted rates will come up as they would, under your Apatuki scheme. You'll see that line, the 30%, which is in the general rate, comes up in that total amount in the general rate. It would be possible for next year, if we wanted to consider it, that we could show that as a separate line. Is that it is?
If you wanted to introduce a new cyclone rate, like we did have immediately after the cyclone, then it would show up as a separate targeted rate line on the rates invoice.
Would we have to unravel the targeted component from the schemes themselves?
Yes, you would, but we can do that. We have ways to do it.
Ways of doing that?
So that's something we could consider.
Yeah, it's just a consideration for
next
time
year.
round.
Yeah,
but,
we did.
But we can make a commentary on the rate bill around that.
Yes, and the supporting rates invoice that goes with the bill. Yeah.
Can it appear on the rate demand itself?
Not on the front of the rate demand, but we could certainly update the back to make it a little bit clearer that where the flood resilience portion of cost goes through. May change the back of the invoice.
So we could pick out the global costs, even though they find their way into specific line items in the demand.
Mm-hmm. I think we can pick that up for our conversations for next year. I think it's a good idea. Councillors will remember we had a cyclone rate for the first 2 years after the cyclone as a separate line, and we decided at that point, rather than having a cyclone rate shown, that as we were moving into work and capital and OPEX work, that we'd take it back into general rate. But it may be looking forward, and particularly looking to simplifying local government, that we want to reconsider perhaps being more explicit in what those costs are. So we can talk about that. Thank you. I'm looking for a mover of the recommendations. I don't know if someone is happy to move all of these at once. If there's any issues. Sorry?
Councillor Curtin said he would.
Oh, Councillor Curtin, you happy to move?
Happy.
Thank you.
Happy to second.
Councillor must be happy to second. Thank you. Comments? Councillor Curtin? No. Councillor Ormsby?
No, just a huge thank you to the team. Thank you. Well done.
Okay. Any other comments? No, thank you. We have a mover and a seconder. All those in favour, please say aye.
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 Any against? That's carried. Thank you very much. Thanks to all of you. Item 5.3, which is the Māori Committee appointments to committees. Is Te Wairama?
Not sure, Chair, but I can.
Okay, you can take us through that.
Simply take the paper as read. The Māori Committee have recommended appointments to a number of council committees, noting that they're in an advisory capacity when they attend those committee meetings. The co-chair, Mr. Papu, may have some.
Yes, I was going to come to him next. Yes, Mr. Paku.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As you can see there, each of the Taiwhānau areas have named their representatives. There's also a named alternate to each of those three city members. That's to make sure we maintain good attendance at the table to provide the advisory advice to come back into council. They are named. You will see that we've had a change there for Heretang in regards to Mr. Mare Apatu coming off, and that's part of our succession in regards to making sure that, if you like, we're bringing the next generation through, even though that next generation is age 60, but we won't delve too much into that. Just in regards to the subcommittees and representation on there, we have asked that we have an alternate in there to make sure that there's representation at that particular level. As we all know, even with the best of intentions and forewarning, things come along in life that see us being unable to meet those commitments that we've actually put our hand up for. It's just to make sure that there is a Māori advisory face from our Māori Standing Committee. Once again, it is named rather than just random individuals walking through the door. I'll leave it at that, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Any questions, clarifications? Someone happy to move those recommendations?
Aye.
Thank you, Councillor Waitos. I'm happy to second those from the chair. Know that further comments on those and online. No?
Comment?
Yes, please, Councillor Rodley.
Just great that the Māori Committee is back up and represented well, and as always, we appreciate your advice at this table, but of course the Māori Committee has an important role to impart their wisdom across the whole organisation. So thank you for leading that work. I guess TY is actually leading it, but Mike, your support I'm sure under there, so great to have them back on board.
Thank you. Thanks for those comments, Councillor Rodley. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Against, that's carried. Thank you. We are moving to 5.4, which is the Investment Strategy Committee. And I'm going to welcome Pip to join us. Good morning.
Good morning. Right. Kia ora, Councillor. Item 5.4 talks about the Investment Strategy Committee. We established that committee back in November 2025. However, it's not yet sat, and given our changing environment, we thought it was an opportune time to bring back a refreshed terms of reference that give you the opportunity to reinvigorate that committee under a new operating context. So the recommendations within are to firstly refresh the terms of reference to remove clause 2.6, which couples the the committee with engagement. To replace clause 2.6 with the ability for the committee to consider any investment matters related to local government reform, which gives us the opportunity to use that forum to deep dive into different scenarios, different modelling and potential work from HBRIC that we may request, and to add a new clause 2.7, to consider any other investment matter that the committee may wish to explore. So basically broadening the remit of that committee to explore items that you deem relevant. Further, we note that, again, due to the changing context, that the legal advice from Simpson Grayson in relation to HBRIC councillor directors sitting on that committee is no longer relevant, and therefore the membership, we can remove that and look at the membership of that committee. And then the last thing really is around that membership and whether or not, given the, again, changing context and the refreshed terms of reference, whether or not council wishes to adapt the membership as it's currently stated. I put that to you.
Thank you. Questions? Clarifications? No, everyone's clear on what that's about. So we will be looking for nominations for the committee. We do have Councillor McIntosh as chair, Councillor Kuklinski and Councillor Van Beek already established. We don't need to re-vote that, do we? No. We will be looking for a nomination for an addition to that committee. Councillor Roderick?
Yes, I'd like to make a nomination, please. Is this now's time? Yes, I'd like to nominate Councillor Waitoa for the to be considered for the Investment Strategy Committee.
Thank you. And you?
Second.
Thank you, Councillor Kuklinski.
I was hoping to second it, actually, because I'm quite delighted.
Right. Would you like to? Councillor Kuklinski got there first. Sorry about that. Would you like to speak to that?
No, I'm happy to hand it over to Louise.
Okay. Look, I'm just delighted for Conrad, because he's obviously very good at all things financial, and I feel like I've dodged a bullet somehow. So congratulations.
Congratulations, but
I'm sure it will be.
Okay. Thank you. So we have a nomination. You'd like to speak, Councillor Radley?
To that nomination. Okay. So yes, it's with great pleasure that I'd like to nominate Councillor Waitoa for this position. What we've seen from Councillor Waitoa since he has joined this table is a real eye for detail, and particularly when it comes to numbers. And I really appreciate that, and I think this is a role where those things really matter. But more than that, I think it's around, I think as Pip, you noted, it's around scanning the horizon for opportunities. It's around thinking really smartly around what, dare I say, levers, but what opportunities might lie in our investment portfolios and across council, our financial position. So I think that alignment will be really useful and really give this these other Councillor McIntosh, Councillor Kuklinski and Councillor Van Beek a great set of additional eyes to support that work, and I endorse the work itself. So yes, so I would like to nominate Councillor Waitoa.
Thank you. Further comments? Would you like to make any further comments, Councillor Parsons?
No, I think I've said my case.
Excellent, thank you. So we're looking for someone to move the recommendations on receiving the report, adopting the updated terms of reference and confirming the membership alongside the new nomination. Someone happy to move that? Thank you. Councillor Kuklinski and Councillor Parsons second. Thank you. Any further comments? Would you like to make some comments, Councillor Waitoa?
No, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay, all those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Against, that's carried. Thank you. Thank you, Pip. Item 6 is the HBRIC 26-27 statement of intent. We have Tom Skirman online joining us. Welcome, Tom.
Kia ora, councillors.
Thank you. I might pass to you to make some opening comments.
Look, it's very quick from me. Look, this is essentially a formality that the statement of intent has to be delivered to you before the end of the year, and so this is the delivery. I think the paper speaks to the process that we've been through, and so that's compliant with the requirements. You have the document in front of you. The paper points to some specific wording and some changes that council sought, and I think they're on page 15, so you can verify that that's what you sought. And other than that, I hope you like the new format, and clearly the highlight is the gallery of celebrities on the last page. And so that's all from me, Chair.
Thank you, Tom. Questions on this? You've seen this before. Clarifications? No? Okay. Everyone's happy. Councillor Curtin, would you like to move this paper?
Happy to move, Madam Chair.
Happy to move. Thank you. The seconder? Thank you. Councillor Roadley. Councillor Curtin, you'd like to speak?
Just very briefly,
Thank you.
really appreciate the format. I hope people can read it this time around, because it's the first time I've been able to read it properly.
Not very reassuring.
No, not very reassuring. But really sets out clearly what the objectives are, and I think that the bottom line is at page 89, and the forecast for the coming financial year, proposed dividend of 14.5 million, so that gives you some idea of, if you like, the reasonable health of the investment portfolio, being able to incrementally shift the quantum up. But it doesn't prevent council from considering its options, going into the long-term plan, and making other sorts of requests should they so make them. It's just a matter of discussion, negotiation to amend this document and have HBRIC respond accordingly. So, but do recommend the document as written. It's very clear in my mind.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Further comments?
Yes, thank you, Chair. Thanks, Tom. And whilst I think maybe you noted the Rogues Gallery at the end as with a little smirk on your face, it actually gives me great confidence that we've got this significant portfolio is being managed by a panel of expert directors. This is a significant asset for our whole region and for our whole future, and to know that it's in such safe hands is very reassuring. So thank you to, if you could pass on our thanks to that board for the work that they do. And yes, certainly like to second the new layout, a very readable document and very clearly laid out. And so thank you all round.
Thank you. Probably just the comment from me as Councillor Curtin spoke to page 89, understanding the huge significance that the 14.5 million plays into our general rates and how heavily subsidised our rates are by the management of this portfolio. I think it's around $250 a ratepayer that's subsidised. Not many people actually understand that the dividend goes directly against the general rate equally across all ratepayers. So it really is something very significant, and we know going into local government reform that this is an asset that the region will be very interested in, and that it is an asset that is for intergenerational benefit. So I think that's something that this table and certainly the board's aware of as we work through the next couple of years in simplifying local government. Thank you, everyone. All those in favour of receiving the statement of intent, please say aye.
Aye.
Right. Any against? That's carried. Thank you very much. Thank you, Tom. That actually brings us to the end of our public agenda. We are going to move into public excluded now. Is there any, does anyone need further information as to why we're going to public excluded? Happy with that?
I'm happy to read it out, Chair, and note why we are, or maybe Leanne.
Thank you. Certainly I can do that. So for the minutes, we're moving into public excluded because the previous meeting dealt with issues that related to negotiations for the council. The Napier Hastings Public Transport Bus Tender is to prevent disclosure of information which would unreasonably damage the commercial position of the company, and also enable the council holding the information to carry out negotiations. Cyclone Gabriel coronial inquiry legal costs is to prevent the disclosure of information that's legally privileged. And the potential sale of a Wellington leasehold property is because the item contains sensitive price and valuation information that could prejudice council's ability to negotiate the terms of the sale. I'd like to move those. I'm happy with that. That we're moving to public excluded.
Thank you. I'm happy to second that from the chair. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Against, that's carried. Thank you. I'll just wait a moment till we come off live stream.